Glad you're still here. Burkina Faso's military government has pardoned and freed 21 soldiers convicted of involvement in the country's failed coup in 2015. 6 officers, including 2 former unit commanders of the former presidential guard, are on the list alongside 15 non-commissioned officers and rank-and-file soldiers. They were convicted at a military tribunal in Ouagadougou in 2019 for harming state security, murder, or treason. 2 generals considered the mastermind of the failed coup were sentenced to 20 and 10 years in prison, respectively. The freed soldiers will rejoin the army, but the decree stipulates that they will not be eligible for compensation or career progression. International journalist Tham Thamsanqa Zhou joins me now from the UK to discuss the development in Burkina Faso. Thank you for giving us your time. What is your overview of the military's decision to pardon with these conditions?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Felicity. This, to me, is a very important move that the administration in Ouagadougou has taken. Because what happens in these particular, cases is you have people that are aligned to previous constituencies. So when you look at the likes of Gilbert Diendere and others that were in prison following what happened in 2015, I remember that time very well. They were very close to former President Blaise Compaoré. They were part and parcel of that administration. They were the enforcers. So what they tried to do was to reverse what had happened in 2014 when that uprising happened. So when you pardon people like that, you are carrying favor with the constituency that they represented, that they used to serve. So it's easy to look at these 21, but the implications, the impact, the significance goes beyond the personnel and or the former army officers and their families. It goes to the political effort to reach out to other parts of the country and other political players, especially those that were aligned with the previous administrations from the times of Thomas Sankara and Blaise Compaoré after that. Felicity?
And release of these soldiers may undermine efforts to hold perpetrators accountable for their actions.
One of the schools of thought within the African context, when you look at the new administrations and the new spirits, is to try and undo this idea that every time when an African leader goes out of power, you get a new administration that tries to chase them to their grave. Whether it is through corruption or human rights or whatever other allegations. What tends to happen in other parts of the world, in the West in particular, there is no tendency to pursue or to chase after the leaders when they leave power. So the school of thought that appears to be gaining momentum is to look at what others did when they were in power or when they were running the administration, not with the eyes of trying to hold them back and drag them through the prison system, but to be, in a way that embraces everyone. Because when you do that, you reward good behavior in office. And so most people will likely retire or, just leave power. They don't have to hold on to it. If you have a tendency that has been there in the past in Africa to say, oh, we want to remove this leader from power, and when you leave them from power, we'll drag them through the courts, we will lock them up, then it just means that those people in power will feel that they have to hold on. So they can change the constitution, they can refuse to leave when they lose elections. So it's counterproductive to be chasing people for what they did when they were in office. And that appears especially to be happening or to have been happening in Africa as opposed to other parts of the world.
Let's take one of the conditions that was given, that the freed soldier, though they are allowed to rejoin the army, they are not eligible to compensation or career progression. Is that a caveat that perhaps addresses questions about them posing security risk?
It is twofold. So the first is that when you say to them they have to stay in the army, you are trying to keep them close and keep an eye on them. Because when they are not, you don't know what they're doing. They can leave, they can go abroad. And you really don't know, you have no control at that time. You might, deploy resources to keep them under surveillance, state security, but it is costly and unnecessary. But if they are there within rank and file, you can keep an eye on them and you can control them. But also it is just a message to them to say there are things that they've done in the past. They've gone through the tribunals, they had a conviction, and now they've been given a pardon. But part of that, stretch of the hand of comfort from the President of the Republic is to say, don't ask for too much. Be grateful because now you are able to go home and meet your family. And, people that are in the army are very disciplined in most cases. So they will follow the orders of whoever is their leader at the time.
Tham, thank you very much for speaking with us.
A pleasure.